Welcome. This is the second recording showing how you can use Copilot to assist you with your Six Sigma DMAIC phases. In this recording, we will cover measure, which covers data collection plan, how you can structure to create a measurement system analysis, MSA, how you can create a process flow chart, how you can use Copilot in Excel to create a histogram, and lastly, how you can structure and create a process capability analysis. Let's get started. In the previous section we covered in Define, we covered how to look at project charter, site book, voice of the customer, and critical to quality. And we will use this information from the content to start creating a data collection plan. So I've already got a prompt that includes the information that we have from Define phase to create a data collection plan. So I'm copying that in. And I'll go over to my Copilot. As you can see, this says create a data collection plan, which specifies what data to collect, how to collect it, when to collect it, and by whom, using the content from our Define phase of the project information to create this information. And then I hit submit. So here we have it starting to structure a data collection plan of what to remember. Also remember that it's using the content from your charter in order to create this structured data collection plan. And it gives you information. And this is a great starting point for how you're going to define your data collection plan. It goes back to looking at things like what data collect. From customer queries, record all customer queries received. This includes the nature of the query, the complexity, and so on. So all are call recordings. Response data, track the response provided by the customer, the time it taken, the accuracy of the response, and so on. And also how to collect the data. It also gives you that detail and when to collect it and by whom. And this is a great start. Now, what we also want to look at is use the same content to maybe create a structure for a measurement system analysis, an MSA. Again, using the same style of creating a prompt, create an MSA. Remember what I said in the Define phase, using the abbreviation, but then explaining what the abbreviation is. So create an MSA, measurement system analysis, that assesses the accuracy and provision of the measurement system of the content being the charter information that we already have. So as you can see, it's cumulative. It goes back up looking to what the charter information that we have, and then it gives you a structure for a measurement system analysis overview. It shows you define the measurement system, and this is all about identifying the key metric, look at the gauge repeatability and reproducibility, and it tells you what these things are as well. So it makes it easier for you to understand what you need to do. It doesn't actually calculate it for you, but it gives you the structure. So what I then want to look at is to create a process flow. And here, it's all about creating a process flow, which is a visual tool that shows the sequence of steps and decisions in the process. So what I want Copilot to do first is give me an overview what a process flow chart is. So in case I was unsure. So using this prompt will give you that overview. It tells you what it is. That's a diagram. It gives you a clear visual understanding of the process. It gives you a structure on how you're going to structure the process and start and end the different process steps, decision points, and also where the different arrows are, and also identify time and delays and things like that. So what we then want to do is that, if you remember back to Define phase, we created a site book, which includes the process or the high-level process. So what I'm then now going to do, I have what the process flow chart is, but now I'm going to ask you to create it with a bit more detail using the process from our site book. and then I hit where you say call initiation, issue identification, troubleshooting, and resolution, and so on, and follow up. I then put that into my prompt and I hit return. It will then look at what the process log is. It will look at the content that you have and the process from our sidebook, and then it'll give you a detailed explanation. Again, call initiation. The process begins when a customer initiates the call. Issue identification. The next step is issue identification, how we troubleshoot, and decision point resolution, and so on. Or do we need to escalate and follow up? So this has given me a very high level overview, but I want to take it one step further. I want to also Copilot to give me the decision points, yes, no, in this process flow. So I can then say, can you expand the process flow with a yes, no decision after each step? So we have the process, and now I want the Copilot to give me the decision points or the decision point suggestion, which you then will review to make sure it's valid and so on. And here we see, decision point. Was the call successfully initiated and connected? Proceed to the next step, issue identification. Issue identification. Decision point. Was the issue successfully identified? And if it was yes, proceed to troubleshooting. If it wasn't, then you go back to say, ask more questions related to the escalation. But if it's a yes, it goes to troubleshooting, and then have a decision point. Was the issue resolved through troubleshooting? Proceed. And if it's a yes, proceed to call closure. And if it's a no, then maybe we need to escalate. And as you can see, this gives us that overview, which is fantastic. Now I'm going to switch to Excel, because I want to show you how you can create a histogram in Excel. So I'm just going to take up some data that I've already prepared from the call center, which shows the length of a call. Just one second. So as you can see here, we've got 40 calls. We have caller A, B, C, and D, and E, and then we have the length of a call, and so on. So here in Excel, the only thing you need to remember when you're going to be using Copilot, that it needs to be saved on your local machine, your SharePoint, or your OneDrive. If it's not saved, if you just open the file and start working, then Copilot will not work and it'll be grayed out. But as you can see, I've got Copilot highlighted because I saved it on my local machine. I click Copilot. And as you can see, I've got a preview version here. And then what we then can do is that we see the table here. And in order for Copilot to also to work properly, it needs to be into a proper table. So we convert this date range to a table. And all you got to do is highlight one of the cells and click Convert. There we go. Then we got this information. So all I'm going to do now is just say to Copilot, show data insight. Click on the button. You can actually create specific queries or prompts into Excel as well. But I thought for this, because we're only making a histogram, I thought, why don't we just use the built-in suggestions for analytics that's in Copilot based on the data that is being presented to it. So we have a table here which shows the different, the average length of a call per call handler. That's interesting, but it's not really a histogram. So I've just clicked on, can I see another insights? And here we go. Here you have the histogram. I can click a couple of more times. Can I see another? Insights, and this actually shows one of the anomalies of the data, where one call is really longer than everything else. Again, we have another call that's really longer than else. But then I'll just say to Copilot, add all this insight to a grid. And what it then does, it then pulls all this information into a lovely charter, and you have your histogram. Here is your histogram. We can see that a number of calls is between 23 and 43 minutes, 43 to 63 minutes, and we have some calls that is greater than 90 minutes. So all you got to do here now is go into your chart and say that I want to see how many, and we can see how many data it is and things like that. You can also do the same here on call handling if it doesn't display the data. But as you can see, Copilot is giving you the outside-in starting point to look at this data. Our aim was to create a histogram, and that's what we have done, which is fantastic. Now the Excel is just like normal, so you can go in and you can change your bins if you want more than 5 here as it's selected here. You can say you want 7 bins or columns, and it is created, and you can copy and paste this in as normal. Also, what's good when you put the add insight to grid, it gives you the data below here as well, which is fantastic as well. So let me now switch back to Copilot on M365, and I've got one more thing that I want to look at. I want Copilot to create me an example of a process capability analysis, so I can evaluate how well the process meets the customer specification. And if I'm totally honest, I'm thinking, what does that consist of? What do I need to do in order to create this? So I'm asking Copilot to give me that overview. So again, the prompt, create an example from a content. Again, remember it's cumulative, so it has all that information previously up in the Copilot history. So it wants them to create the process capability analysis. And said, sure, let's consider the process of resolving customer queries in your customer service system. There you notice he's picked up that information from our charter about what it is that we're trying to do. And here we have different steps that you need to do. So I'll come back and add, and although it doesn't give you the exact calculation, it gives you the means of showing you step by step how to do it, which is fantastic that Copilot can give you that information. Let's go up, and then you can see here what I mean. So define the first step, defining the process performance. First, we need to collect the data on how long it takes to resolve customer queries. Quite straightforward. Let's say we collect this data for a month and find the average resolution time is 22 hours with a standard deviation of 2 hours. Again, you can apply this to your own data. Define the customer specification. The customer specification is that all queries should be resolved in 24 hours. You can set this how you want. This gives you an upper spec limit of 24 hours, USL. So if you go into Minitab and any other statistical tool, you can actually set this to actually calculate this. Then you look at calculating the process capability. And that's the CP and CPK. And it tells you actually here how to do it. So it's very, very clear and how you are to interpret the result. And that was measure.